These serve as an insult on their intellectual minds, particularly for a country that had run its affairs for 47 years, with much hostility in its second republic of 16 years. They have shown their solidarity with President Jammeh and vowed to stand firm and upright with him, to defend the constitution he swore to protect for 4 consecutive times. Babukar Kamara, GRTS.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly Monday afternoon considered and approved the petition by the Gambian people on the European Union's Article 8 political dialogue with the Gambia government. Mama J was at the extraordinary session convened at the National Assembly chambers, and this is her report.
It could be recalled that the Gambian people recently submitted to the National Assembly the European Union's Article 8 political dialogue with the government of the Gambia. The subject, which attracted both national and public interest, prompted the authorities of the National Assembly to accord the issue a high sense of priority, hence the importance of this extraordinary session to enable lawmakers discourse on the topic. After the executive arm of the government rejected the European Union's 17 points demand, in addition to the petition of the Gambian people, it is now the turn of the legislative body and elected representatives of the Gambian people to also make their stand clear by engaging their honorable colleagues in the European Union Parliament and the ACP-EU Joint Parliamentary Assemblies. The motion on the agenda during this special session was moved by the majority leader and member for Serekunda East, Honorable Fabakary Tombong Jatta, who reminded the Honorable House that the Gambia is a sovereign and independent state and that the European Union has no authority to infringe on the rights of the Gambian people by ordering the review of the laws that were made by the national legislative body in accordance with the country's constitution.
We here must act because we derive our powers from the people, and the people have spoken, and therefore we must act. Our actions must be dictated by the wishes of the people of this country. Very fundamental, clear.
The motion was seconded by the nominated National Assembly member, Honorable Lamin Sen, who noted that the Gambian sovereignty should be respected as the people's democratic government.
There is a violation of this article by the European Union if they came up to really impose this thing. So it is untenable and unacceptable. So we stand by what the people are saying and by the head of this country, the president of this country, because it is provocative. What they really anticipated is to provoke the people. We know what they expect and answer, to say no, reject, total rejection of an imposition.
Speaker after speaker rose to add their voices on the debate. The member for Fonyi Berefet, Honorable Bintan Dinjaju, urged the people to jealously guard the peace and stability that Gambians and non-Gambians alike continue to enjoy in the country.
I was so confused the day I heard of this. I said, so we are not independent again. Because somebody is there telling us what to do and what not to do. When we have our laws in place, that is guiding us. So if anybody is telling us to throw away those laws and then follow what they are saying, then we are not independent.
If we all know what dialogue means, it's not what is stated in this leaflet.
All the House but the minority leader and member for Nyamina Dankunku was not in the same boat with his colleagues deputies during the discussions. The Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service and also the Minister of Presidential Affairs, Dr. Njoguba, was also given the floor to make his contributions in defending what is termed as the country's integrity.
These people, the Europeans or affiliated institutions, they could have talked to us about education, how to improve our, the system. They could have, talked to us about, how to improve agriculture, mechanized agriculture. They could have talked about, improving our health facilities and providing drugs and all that. But they are not interested in that. What they are interested is to pick on us, and they think we are small, but we are very dignified, and we know who we are, and we will continue to defend and protect our country to the last drop of blood.
Deputies who were speaking with one voice in solidarity with President Jammeh and the people of the Gambia unanimously considered and approved the petition by the Gambian people on the European Union's Article 8 political dialogue with the government of the Gambia. Mama J, GRTS.
The West Africa Agricultural Productivity Program, WAP, recently embarked on a nationwide tour to distribute farming inputs worth over $3 million to 100 communities across the country. As Louis Mendy reports, the activity forms part of one of the main components of the project, which is to increase horticultural production and productivity in the country.
WAP, the West African Agriculture Productivity Program, began its second year of intervention in the Gambia by putting smiles on the faces of the women folk actively engaged in horticultural production. Project officials recently distributed garden input worth over $3 million to 100 communities across the country. The selection criteria for beneficiaries, according to officials of WAP, were just.
Actually, the criteria that was used to select villages to benefit from this package are basically four. The garden must be a communal garden. It must be fenced already. It must have adequate water. There should be a running well, there should be a tap or whatever, but to ensure that there is adequate water to support the process of production of vegetables. Women must also be eager or actually involved in gardening at the moment. These are the four criteria that was used to select villages.
The development is a fulfillment of one of the components of the project to increase horticultural production and productivity in the country.
The package consists of seeds, fertilizer, equipment, garden tools and equipment. In terms of seeds, we provided onion seeds, cabbage seeds, okra seeds, lettuce, tomato, eggplant, and sweet pepper. We provided the two types of fertilizer, NPK and urea. The garden tools are watering cans, garden forks, garden tools, spades or shovels with rakes, a wheelbarrow as you can see, and sprayers. So these are all meant to consolidate the production process of vegetables across the country, because we've seen that women are very proactive.
We are doing this activity in collaboration with NARI, DOA, the Horticultural Service, and the National Women's Bureau, because most of these gardens, as I said, 100 garden schemes. 60 of the schemes were identified by the Department of Agriculture, and the additional 40 schemes were identified by the Women's Bureau.
NARI, the Department of Horticulture, and the Women's Bureau as identifiers of the beneficiary communities were adequately represented during the countrywide distribution of the gifts.
We are giving them this support in the form or using the approach IP, Innovation Platform. The WAP, which is the West Africa Agricultural Productivity Program, is supporting 5 priority commodity areas in this country, namely maize, groundnut, rice, vegetables, small ruminants and poultry. And the support is in the form of a value chain approach. Value chain approach, in that what I mean is supporting the production and productivity of the community from seed to the table.
In all meetings preceding each distribution, a key message that resonated throughout is a call on beneficiaries to prioritize the sustainability of the rare opportunity accorded to them. Pledging to live up to expectations, recipients of the gift say the development did not come to them by surprise. The impact of the Den locals and the recent expired Jeep project is enough a story to tell. With WAP, the women are hopeful for a more progressive future. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
As the day inches closer for the much-anticipated trade fair, the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry recently gathered stakeholders at a press conference to delve on the significance of the event and encourage businesses to seize the rare opportunity to showcase their products. As we hear in this report by Mamadou Diallo, this year's event is expected to attract participants from over 40 countries.
Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry this morning held this forum ahead of the preparation of the 6th edition of the trade fair. The forum, which took the form of a media briefing, brought together stakeholders and representatives from the Chamber of Commerce. The theme for this year's event is More Business Opportunities, More Jobs. The Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Almami Tal, said the event would avail stakeholders and vendors the opportunities to exhibit their sales and products as well as reduce unemployment and create jobs.
The main objective of the trade fair